Hey guys, thank you for joining me today in Godspot. I want to talk to you about unleashing strengths and managing weaknesses. Paul writes, "A thorn was given me in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to harass me, to keep me from becoming conceited. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." And he rounds this up saying, "For when I'm weak, then I am strong." And what he's saying here is that life is very complex. And you and I understand this. We understand that life is filled with strengths and weaknesses. And because we're always dealing with one or the other, we fail in one and we always succeed in the other. So firstly, we need to recognize what our strengths are. What are your strengths? Well, I heard one man say today that our strengths are what we feel strong in doing. Now, for a motor mechanic, that might be in fixing a car, but he won't feel strong in painting a car. Now, for me, it's public speaking. I feel very empowered. I feel strong when I'm publicly speaking. I'm able to engage the audience and speak to them anywhere from 10 people to 20 to 100 to 1,500 to 3,000 people. But if you take me off the stage and you put me in a networking event, a room filled with strangers, I don't feel so strong. In fact, I feel absolutely drained by the end of the event because it just wears me out. Whereas when I speak publicly, I feel empowered. My wife loves networking events. She feels totally energized, the opposite to how I feel, but put her in a public speaking position and she doesn't feel as strong. So what are your strengths? What do you feel strongest at doing? Could be public speaking, could be leading, could be managing, could be even teaching or doing finances. Maybe you're a number cruncher. Whatever it is your strength is, you need to lean into it and unleash it, because this is what can make the difference in your life. If you can recognize that strength in the workplace or in your ministry, in a church or a community event, you'll be able to give your all into it, feel your strongest and feel like you're succeeding. And I recommend you do that and unleash those strengths in your life. Unleash your superpower, so to speak. But there are also weaknesses we have to face. And these weaknesses cannot be left undealt with. If we leave them undealt with, they will remain weak, and we have to work on them. Firstly, we have to manage them, and then we have to try and make them into strength and somehow build them up. It's like having a weak muscle after an operation. There's been a time where you've had to rehabilitate and you've got to strengthen that muscle and build it back up again. The only way to do that is exercise. So it is with your weaknesses. And firstly, it starts with self-awareness. You need to be aware that you do have some weaknesses, that you do have some blind spots. And don't get offended when someone says something about it. Don't get offended when someone points it out to you. Be willing to acknowledge it instead of living in denial. And understand that you're human, just like everybody else. And if this weakness is coming up again and again and again, then maybe it's time you did something about it. The second thing you need to do is take responsibility. You know, all change starts with taking responsibility. If you want to change who you are and what you're weak in, you got to take responsibility for that weakness. Don't try and throw someone else under a bus. Don't blame, shift it onto someone else. Take responsibility and own it. You own your successes. You own what you're strong in. Own your weaknesses as well. And understand it's part of who you are. And you need to work on it. And thirdly and lastly, it's only when you understand your strengths can you really then put a strategy in place to deal with your weaknesses. Because while you're feeling strong, that's the time to work on your weakness. That's the time to face it and deal with it and work on it and strengthen it. And let me just say this, that a person who works on their weaknesses, that's a super strength, because not many people will work on their weaknesses. I hope today has helped you. I really felt inspired today with that quote that whatever we do when we feel strong is our strength. And I want to encourage you to unleash the power of your strength today. Thank you for listening. Hit the like button, share it with someone else. Thanks again.